You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Bold and the Beautiful fans, we've got Ridge determined to prove to everybody, especially Brooke, that he is committed to Taylor, and he might do something drastic to get his point across to her and Eric both. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and we're going to talk about how and why Ridge may propose to Taylor to push back against Eric bossing him around about his love life and Brooke demanding he come back to her. All right, so Eric and Brooke just pulled that little stunt to update the showstopper dress from Portofino to try and remind Ridge of the magic of the moment and realize he has to embrace his destiny and go back to Brooke. Eric tried to sell the showstopper scheme as a moment where Brooke saved the whole fashion show. That was a show that was going just fine. Eric insisted it took the glare off why they had to get the company back, but come on. Everybody was talking about Ivy's jewelry, Daphne's fragrances, and the return of the Couture line. Nobody was talking about the Carter coup, except for when Ridge kind of acknowledged that Carter changed the company and thanked him. It was totally smoothed over. And since the Forrester Creations fashion show this week, Eric has been telling Ridge that he belongs with Brooke, flat out, like a statement, not an opinion. It's a fact. And of course, Ridge knows his father means well, but he finally had enough. And he snapped at Eric and pushed him to stop meddling. Ridge keeps saying he's committed to Taylor, but neither Eric nor Brooke are listening or respecting Ridge's right to decide for himself. Recently, Eric said that Ridge has too much history with Brooke to walk away from her. But then Ridge reminded Eric that he has a long history with Taylor also. Plus, Ridge said Taylor never betrayed them. They love each other. They have something special. And then Ridge finally yelled at his dad because he reminded him, you agreed that Brooke betrayed all of us as well. And Eric, of course, was trying to backtrack on that, insisting that Ridge made a mistake, dismissed every point his son raised, and then basically dismissed his and Taylor's relationship entirely, saying, you're not even engaged to her. Go back to Brooke. So after that reaction, that whole interaction irritated Ridge. Well, in came Brooke, and she said, everybody wants them back together, so they need to make it happen. She's pushing Ridge, and I know Brooke feels like she's got this in the bag, but she doesn't. Ridge is going to reject her again. That is confirmed. But after he tells Brooke, that this was magic, sure, but it was just a moment, and he's with Taylor, there's a chance that Ridge may do something drastic because he's tired of Eric and Brooke trying to push him. I believe Ridge is about to do what he does when he makes up his mind, and he just does it. I think he's going to dig into his heels and push back really hard. And what I suspect he'll do is something quite bold to demonstrate to Eric and Brooke that he knows his own mind. And Eric might have actually given Ridge the idea when he told him that what he has with Taylor isn't serious because he hasn't committed himself to her formally, officially, with a ring, one knee, all that. So Ridge may soon decide to propose to Taylor to prove to Eric that he is serious about Taylor and is committed to her. And of course, that would prove it to Brooke as well. And it certainly wouldn't be the first or even the second time that Ridge decided to marry Taylor. All that said, for those of you that are Team Brooke, I do think you're going to win this in the long run. Let's talk about it. And here's why. So, of course, if Ridge asks Taylor to marry him, she'll say yes. But, she may check in on a few points first. Ridge will tell her he loves her. He wants to spend the rest of his life with Taylor. Ridge will say all the right things. He wants to build a future with her. He wants everybody to know he's committed to her. And by everybody, of course, he means Brooke and Eric. And not only do I suspect Ridge will propose because Eric just brought it up and he wants to clap back at his dad and prove he can make, big boy decisions, but also we know that when Nick Marone arrives in in mid-June that Brooke is completely and utterly crushed and at a low point. And, if Ridge simply rejects her again this week when Brooke's like, let's get back together, that wouldn't stop her. She'd keep on trucking. She'd keep trying to push him to reunite with her, with Eric's help, of course. And she feels like, that he and Taylor are in this casual rebound thing and she doesn't have to respect it. But for Brooke to be so downtrodden by the time Nick hits town, I feel like Ridge is going to do something to completely crush her dream of their destiny, and him proposing to Taylor would definitely accomplish that. Now, to be very clear, I am not saying Ridge and Taylor are going to get married. I think there's a lot of story to tell there, and it doesn't necessarily add up to a happily ever after for Ridge and Taylor. So if you are Team Taylor, I'm sorry, I don't think it's going to work out for you long term. Let's talk about it though. Given that the next set of sweeps, we're in May sweeps now, but there's another set of sweeps that runs July 3rd to 30th. And that's when I think we're going to see a Tridge wedding. That'll give Ridge plenty of time to design a wedding gown and for Taylor to make big plans to be Mrs. Forrester again. And then, of course, Nick slides back into LA and he and Brooke spark again. That is confirmed in official spoilers for Jack Wagner's comeback, by the way. And seeing Brooke move on with Nick, that's what could be a huge reality check for Ridge. It could absolutely send him into a jealous spiral over his brother. I expect Nick to be around a few weeks, maybe a month, 6 weeks, I guess, at the outside, but Jack Wagner is not staying long term. He is on contract over at When Calls the Heart, and he starts shooting season 13 soon. So Bold and the Beautiful may schedule the Taylor-Ridge wedding for July sweeps, and it could get blown up because Ridge is jealous of Nick, who's back in LA and romancing Brooke. This definitely also wouldn't be the first Taylor and Ridge wedding interrupted because of his Logan. At one past Tridge wedding, Brooke crashed because she was pregnant. She didn't know if it was Eric or Ridge's kid, but basically announced the baby news to stop it. And if you don't recall, it turns out it was Eric's kid. That was the Bridget origin story. And it didn't stop Ridge and Taylor from tying the knot that time. They carried on after Brooke's interruption, but ultimately fell apart down the road. And Ridge's last wedding to Taylor a few years ago was blown up because of the whole Thomas Brooke fake call CPS mess. That was when, Thomas used Douglas's voice changer to make it seem like Brooke called CPS on him, but it was Thomas that framed Brooke. And the truth bomb dropped right before Taylor and Ridge said their I do's at the altar, and it was Steffi who revealed that secret and blew it all up. To her credit, she told the truth that Thomas set up Brooke, and Ridge walked away from Taylor because she knew about the lie and didn't tell Ridge. So she only found out right before the wedding, but still. So if Ridge and Taylor head back to the altar again, it could happen that Ridge can't go through with the wedding because he can't stand the idea of Brooke being with Nick, and that might make Ridge realize he can't be without Brooke. And then poor Taylor gets her heart broken at the altar. That's honestly where I see this all going based on Nick's return and what's going on now. And I feel like Ridge may do a reactionary proposal to clap back at Brooke and Eric. So we'll see. It's destiny denied for now, but maybe not forever.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.